If most dance works as a solvent drawing people out of their shells and into each other's space, Yaeji's part house, part hip-hop focused more on the shells themselves. The New York producer and vocalist doesn't see the awkwardness of the club as a wall to be torn down with fast enough beats and deep enough bass, which is not to say that the bass on her second EP isn't deep. Its subdermal quake, especially on After That, ranks high among ep2's many charms. It's more that the beats, the bass, and the lyrics she drips on top of them all work to remind you of the limits of dance floor transcendence, and the strange, lonely pocket you fall into when you aim for transcendence and miss. Yaeji pushes her further to its poles on ep2. While her first EP established her idiosyncratic vocals, she simultaneously murmurs and raps and sings, as if there's nothing to shout over, nothing to prove. Her second contrasts them with deep, ebbing backbeats and heavy rumbles of bass. She sings and raps and murmurs in both English and Korean, sometimes switching between the two mid-thought, as if SHES reached the limit of specificity one language can offer and has to use two to pinpoint her uneasy emotional timbre and parallax. On Drink Him Sippin' On, she repeats the phrase "that's not it" in Korean, emphasizing both its elegant syllabic architecture and the sensation of being not quite understood. Even the EP's most crowd-rousing track, Rain Girl, casts overtones of alienation on its seesawing beat. The refrain of "Make It Rain, Girl, Make It Rain" scans plainly enough, but like a lot of hip-hop vocalists, Yaeji tends to choose words as much for there as the literal meaning, if not prioritizing the former. Mother Russia in My Cup doesn't hold much semantic water, but it's badass and its meter hits the beat. It's as if Yaeji is porting slang in from a world just adjacent to our own, one with colloquialisms that roll a little more smoothly off the tongue. She pronounces them so casually it's disorienting, like you're expected to know them and you don't, which makes it all the easier to surrender to her beats. ep2 closes with a cover of Drake's Passion Fruit, a Yaeji renders in her own muted palette with a dash of auto-tune and some extra language play. Between verses, she collapses the phrase "passionate" from miles away into the portmanteau "passion way," repeating it until it becomes another texture stippling the atmosphere. The line and her elision of it make for a concise summation of what SHES doing in her as a whole, detailing effect and distance at the same time, hinting at strong feelings with subtle tones. Yaeji doesn't concern herself much with disaffection her isn't about proving you don't care, but examining what it's like to care from far away, through an obstacle that won't budge. And unlike Drake, whose vocal patterns map so neatly onto hers that her passion fruit almost starts to like the original one, SHES not casting judgment on that obstacle. SHE's just noticing the barriers that crop up between people despite their better efforts and trying, with a little sub-bass, to echolocate their foundations.